So a couple things you can do to get your courses kind of ready before you start putting content, info in there. A couple cosmetic things. First of all, change that picture, change that image. Every single course that's been created has this blue with the triangle and pencil image on there. Please change that. Okay. Otherwise, it just basically sends the message to your students, hey, I don't even care. So you want to go in there and fix that. Just hover your mouse over it. You can click on Edit Picture. There are default ones that you can pick that they have in there, but they're pretty boring as well. So what I would suggest you do, open up another tab, do a Google search. Like here, I search for U.S. Constitution. When I find that and right-click, I don't want to copy image. I want to save the image. So I save image as, pay attention to where you're saving it to. So here I'm going to put it into pictures, and I'll go ahead and give it a name that makes sense to me. I'll save it. Go back to Schoology. I go to edit my picture. I'm going to attach a file. I saved it to my picture folder. I can see it right there. Select it. Done. Now I've got a nice thumbnail that shows up not only on the computer, but also on the iPad. All right. Besides just the image part, the other thing that you want to take a look at right here under grade setup. All right, a couple things that you can do with your course. First of all, add in some of the categories that you're going to use for your assignment. So let's say that, maybe you don't do categories, you call everything just classwork. That's fine, okay? Go ahead and put that name in there, and don't put too many S's like I did. Classwork, I click Create, and I have that category. Now let's say I'm just going to add another category. Maybe every now and then I'm going to have one that's called like tests. Maybe I'm going to have another one that I'm going to call, homework, whatever. I go ahead and click Create, okay? But I can put those categories in, which then if I do the gradebook sync, it'll create that category when I sync it over to Sapphire. But then I have those set ready to go. The other thing you can do, which I strongly suggest. So here with classwork, if I go over to the side where the star is, if I click on the star so that the star is filled in, that is now my default category. That means when I create a new assignment, a new test quiz, it will automatically first have this category of classwork. If you don't select one, the default category that will be assigned is ungraded, which you probably don't want. So I would suggest, go ahead and star that one. If I change my mind, I'm like, you know what, I'm not going to have a homework category, I can just delete it. Now, in my grade setup, okay, so I went and I deleted my homework part. Now, you might be thinking, well, why would I even bother doing this? I can just add my categories into, each one. Well, here's the thing. You have this Copy Settings button. So I can actually set up my categories in one course. I can click Copy Settings, and I can also add that to any of my other courses that I am teaching. I do that and copy it. I'm not going to actually do that here. But then that will bring over my categories, my defaults, all of that over. The other part is rubrics. So let's say you have some rubrics that you were using for grading different things. So if I go over to here and I click on rubrics, here's a bunch of rubrics that I've already imported in. But let's say I have those rubrics saved in my resources. If I click up here, actually, I'm sorry, if I go ahead to my resources and I go to where I have any of those rubrics, so let's say I want this Pangea paragraph rubric, I can go here, I can say I'm going to add it to a course. I'm going to go and I'm going to add it to my social studies sample course. I click Add. Now when I go back to my course and I go into that grade setup under rubrics, there's my Pangea paragraph rubric. But now if I go and do my copy settings, I can do that, and then I can go ahead over here and I can say that I'm going to add it to this Rocket OLC base course. Okay, I'm going to copy that over. My selections have been copied. If I go over to this other course that I'm teaching and I go into grade setup, here's my categories. Now I actually have more categories because there was more that was already in here. But now if I go to rubrics, there's my Pangea paragraph rubric, and in fact all of the rubrics that I had in that social studies course have come over. So it is a nice little time saver to do that. You just go to one of your courses, do that grade setup, and then copy it over. Now if you have linked sections, remember you're just doing it in the one because it's going to be all throughout all of your sections.